Hey YouTube, I'm here to do two book reviews. I decided to put them together in one video because they are both YA novels and I thought they were great. And I have with me here today the book All American Boys and the book Burn Baby Burn. So I will talk about All American Boys first. So this book is by Jason Reynolds and Brandon Keeley. Jason Reynolds has a ton of other YA novels out, and I'm not sure exactly about Brendan Keeley. I haven't read any other stuff, or seen any other stuff, I should say, by him. But this book is about a young black boy named Rashad who ends up being wrongly accused of robbing, or not robbing, but stealing from a convenience store. And Quinn, a white boy from the same high school who is also a teenager, ends up witnessing a white police officer beating him up. So the whole novel kind of works within a week, and you have the voices of Rashad and Quinn retelling the story, and it basically talks about police brutality in America and is framed within our current day and age. So I gave this book 5 stars on Goodreads. It was pretty much a flawless book to me. One of my coworkers did mention or ask about if the role of women in this book, because it is very male-centered, but I get that because the two authors are male, and I love how one author is white and one author is black, and they are writing those corresponding characters, and it just gives you an insight on some of the stereotypes, myths, and misunderstandings around this issue. They kind of use Rashad as this idea of a perfect victim. However, he is not seen as perfect at all. Quinn is pretty much a white boy who has to deal with confronting about racism, and if he is racist himself, dealing with this issue. I think it was interesting that he connected 2 police officers in the story to both characters. I don't want to spoil that for you all, but it shows how complex racism and anti-blackness is within in a community of policing, and just in American communities in general. So Quinn has to kind of figure out what he's going to do with the information that he saw, and Rashad is basically trying to deal with this traumatic event. The thing that made me like go and give it a 5 stars is the ending. The way that they actually tie the story to real life events that happened in America, in the civil rights movement, and now really made me emotional, and I think that this is a great read for teens and adults alike. Teenagers, just so they can get a little bit of a better understanding on what is going on, and maybe even adults who still aren't very clear on the issues going on. They don't state like anti-blackness specifically, but there is a moment where they are kind of pointing out some anti-blackness, this idea of also respectability politics that is going on as well during these discussions, especially when you talk about the discussion of police brutality between black people. So yes, I would suggest picking up All American Boys. It is the Maryland One book. So the Maryland Humanities Group picked this book. They picked this book for the year for Marylanders to discuss, and they have events surrounding that if you live in Maryland. So yes, that was my really quick review of All American Boys. I did record both of these reviews earlier, but I didn't like them, so I'm re-recording them now. To go into Burn Baby Burn, this is by Meg Medina. So this is about Nora Lopez. She is a 17-year-old Cuban American living in New York in 1977. So she is dealing with the pressure of graduating high school, while the son of Sam is loose in New York, and while her younger brother is basically terrorizing her mother and herself in their own home. I really like this book because it deals with juvenile domestic violence. I did give this book 5 stars on Goodreads, but it's more like a 4.75 read for me, only because because of the character Stiller in the novel. Well, 2 reasons actually. Only because of the character Stiller in the novel. She is a black woman in their apartment building who is an activist, and she ends up becoming more of a caricature of a black female activist at the time rather than someone I think is necessarily believable. Every time there is some type of social justice issue comes up, sometimes Stiller magically appears and she has the answer in a certain way. However, her character is still important because, as you will read in the book, Nora's mother isn't much help at all. And I liked that Meg Medina touched on the subject of juvenile domestic violence and kind of dealing with these pressures, because I know there are a lot of teens out there who are dealing with these issues, and it's good that they reflect those issues back in literature. The second reason I kind of gave it a 2.75 is that the novel almost kind of gives you a white savior ending, but not quite. So I would love to hear some people's I would love to hear your view of this novel. If you have read it, please leave like a spoiler link or a spoiler kind of like message in the comments so people know not to see it, to read it if they want to read this book soon. So yes, I liked both of these novels. I like YA literature that features minority characters and that have some other value than just a good read for teenagers. I think this is a great way for teenagers to learn life lessons. And as a parent, well, I'm not a parent, but if you are a parent, I think these are 2 great books to pick up. All American Boys does have some cursing in it. Burn Baby Burn does mention sex, however there isn't any like actual sex acts being described in this book. So yes, please pick both of these up if you are moved to do so. Both of these books would be great for Own Voices October. I will leave the link down below to one of the YouTube hosts who is in charge of hosting this hashtag event on BookTube. And let me know what you think, if you have already read either of these novels, if you plan on picking them up for yourself to read or for your children to read. And I will see you all next time. Bye.